have finally finished ONYX Storm. Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Usually I do writing vlogs and talk about the whole process of writing my debut fantasy romance novel, but I also am a reader first and decided to film a little bit of my experience with the new release from Rebecca Yarros, ONYX Storm. I went to this huge release party that was a ball, basically with like a DJ. We did war games. We had all of these different activities. I filmed some of that and I got my beautiful copy of ONYX Storm. I had very ambitious plans of recording this like kind of moody vibes vlog of me reading this for the first time with live reactions. I thought it would be so fun because I rarely do that when a new release comes out. Last year when the third Crescent City book came out, I went to a very similar event and had plans to do that as well. And I don't know what happens when releases like this come out, but I turn into like a reading goblin and I can't, it's like not something you want to film. I did not start this book right away, so it kind of felt silly releasing it so much later. I have finally finished ONYX Storm as of yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. I finished reading it. I read it mostly over audiobook, a little bit in the book. I filmed a few short clips of me for TikToks like this. I did a lot of like exercising while reading or like cleaning my house while reading it. And I did not capture any really like aesthetic, cutesy vibes that I wanted to show you guys. So basically I was going to scrap this whole vlog and all this like footage I have of the release party. And then I started rereading it pretty much immediately after finishing it. I like let myself have a good cry Friday night. It's Sunday now. And I immediately on maybe even on Friday, I started reading it. My husband has been reading this series with me. We started this book together and he was really busy with work. He likes to listen to audiobooks like while he's doing things and he was too busy to read it with me. And I was like, I'm not waiting for this particular book. And so now I think he's only on chapter 7. So we just decided to start the whole book over since it had been like almost a month since he had read anything. And we started the book over and we're now actively rereading it together. So I decided that I'm going to reread this with you guys and mostly be annotating it because now that I have finished it and it has had like 2 days to settle, I've also had the opportunity to like go on TikTok and YouTube and watch all of my favorite creators and look up like all the theories and hear so many thoughts. This book, like, you can feel however you want to feel about it, but this definitely was the type of book that makes me want to be a better writer because I want to make my readers feel the level of like joy and laughter and like torment and heartbreak that I experienced reading this. And I cannot stop thinking about this book. I restarted it immediately. So we did a whole reread of this Empyrean series before this book came out. My husband and I were in the middle of rereading Fourth Wing the day that this came out, and then we did Iron Flame. I really enjoyed Iron Flame on a reread. I think on the first time I read it, it wasn't as fun of a read. It was a little bit slower than I wanted, but on a reread, knowing what I knew at the end of Iron Flame, it was really fun to read. I really enjoyed going back to Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame, and you could just see so many things that were obviously there the whole time once you got to the end of Iron Flame. So now with ONYX Storm, already rereading it, just rereading the first like 7 chapters or 5 chapters we've so far read, I have so many more questions and I now am like pointing out things that happened at the end of this book and going, oh, I think this happened here too. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to annotate this book. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to write notes, write down some theories, tab some stuff. I don't usually do this for books, but the next book in this series I think is not coming out for a solid 2 years. And so I want my thought processes, I feel like, just saved in time here, because I don't feel like I'll feel the same in 2 years if I reread this book prior to the next one coming out. This book really like tore my heart apart in like positive and negative ways. And I was very distraught after it. I really just stared at the wall when I finished this book. I'm so upset that I didn't have the experience of reading this. I don't know why I didn't read this on the paperback, because I saw so many people. The last page of this book is absolutely insane, and the way that it is printed, it's all fits on one page, and when you go to turn the page, it's a blank page. And I'm like really sad that I didn't get to experience that for the first time and like feel like I'm looking for the next page and looking for more answers. So this is the very last page of the book, and this is the acknowledgements, and the final story is the page before. I'm so bummed I didn't get to experience that because it was such a shocking ending. So I'm very excited. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of my release party that I went to. It was so fun. It was run by a small indie bookstore, and she threw this huge party last year that I went to for the release of the third Crescent City book, and I thought it was a really well done experience. And it ended up, I think last year it was like closer to 400 people, and this year it was closer to like 250, or like maybe it was 150, 200 people. But I loved the venues at both locations. The woman who owns the bookstore has been picking really great locations that fit the book, and the location for this year, it felt like the most fun date night. My husband and I went together, and it was so cold, and they had this huge fireplace and like all this like very industrial brick, and the fire, and like this beautiful bar, and then the dancing, and it was really fun. Great food, good music, and lots of activities to do. Lots of fun people who also love fantasy books to talk to and hang out with, and it was great. We had a great time. I'm hoping there's another big like book event like this soon. We need like the ACOTAR book to come out or something else so that we can have another party like this, because it was really enjoyable. So I'm gonna show you guys that, and then we're gonna get into this reading vlog. I'm gonna go through and I think just annotate the past couple chapters until I'm like at the live point that my husband and I are for reading. And then we'll just keep going. We'll keep reading. I am going to be highlighting a lot, writing little notes. Would love to give like spoilery thoughts and like theories at the end, so we might do that. And I'll give you like a warning beforehand if you would like to read this book and you haven't. I just feel like there were so many fun things in this book, and this just made me so excited to write my own book and really just like motivated me. So I'm excited to talk about it more. But let's get to the release party for ONYX Storm.
up by now, but I'm not fine. She's 30, should do it with grace, but I'm not okay. Still the world keeps turning. I need a break, I can't escape myself. This roller coaster of emotions and the person I'm becoming. Still learning, pushing 30. Pushing
I've got my coffee. I made this really fun playlist. Well, I made a playlist after reading ONYX Storm with all the songs that I felt like fit Xaden and Violet and the whole rest of the gang and the plot. And I have been listening to it, but it makes me very sad. But Rebecca Yarros made one, like her official playlist for the book, and I haven't had the strength yet to listen to it, but I'm feeling like now might be the moment while I annotate. I looked at the book and I thought we had only read up to chapter 7, but we really read up to chapter 14. So I have 14 chapters to annotate really quick, and I'm not gonna annotate probably every chapter, but I decided I'm gonna use my tabs and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do like cute romance moments with anyone in the book, and then I'm going to do heavy like foreshadowing plot points that upon this second read are very clearly something for the other half. Like after reading it, I can see that this was really important, or I didn't understand it the first time I read it and now it makes a lot more sense. I feel like this whole couple first chapters doesn't make a lot of sense, and on a reread it does. So like you feel kind of confused in the beginning. Anyways, I'm gonna do that kind of foreshadowing. I might end up doing a gods watch kind of one, like anything where the gods are mentioned that I think might be important, and also possibly something with Venin. I just don't know if I want to go that in depth with it because I don't know if I really care what happens with the gods. Like I feel like that'll happen, and I don't know. I can underline it, but I also want to go through and do a fun one for all the really hysterical stuff that Ridoc said and the dragons said, and just like this first half of the book, I was like cackling with laughter, and then the second book, I was just absolutely heartbroken and like my heart was shattered. So I feel like I'm gonna put in the funny stuff and highlight all of that. And then I would like to also do a tab for kind of like really nice truths that I feel like are said throughout the story, like things that mean something in our world, like they're good like life truths or truths for the world of how you can make it a better place, or like just, I don't know, I feel like there were a couple like hard-hitting lines throughout the story about just like humanity and people, and I want to highlight those. So I think that's everything I want to highlight. I might look up a few more annotation things. I'm not sure. We're gonna see where we go along the way. So right now I'm just gonna kind of flip through the first 13 chapters and underline and highlight and put little sticky tabs for a couple of those. And then I think I'm gonna listen to this playlist while I do it. And then I might scan through. My husband's out of the house right now. He's at the grocery store. So I might flip through the pages to like some of the later stuff while he's not here and like highlight highlight and underline while he's not here so that like when he comes back we can pick up reading. I think our plan is to read all day today, but I don't know how much I will film just because we're probably gonna like do a house project while we like read. So I don't know, we'll see what I end up doing. I might read a little bit without him and start annotating some things so that I already know what I want to highlight and stuff like that. So alrighty, let's get to annotating. And I think I might just go through first and underline things I want to underline, and then I'll go back with tabs and like decide officially what each one will be, depending on like how many different ideas I have once I get in there.
Now, do us both a favor and don't hold back. Begin. I've always loved watching you on the mat. I know. Xaden rolls his neck. I've used it to my advantage a few times. Of course he has.
I finished rereading ONYX Storm kind of a while ago, actually, if I'm honest. I thought I was gonna be able to film myself reading the ending of this book like I wanted to the first time. Knowing like what was going to happen, I started crying even earlier. And the last like 5 or 6 chapters, maybe 10 chapters, I was kind of just like a wreck. And I could not film it, and I kind of even stopped annotating at the end. So now I've gone back and annotated some more, which I shared with you guys, and I just wanted to give my little spoilery thoughts. If you haven't finished reading this, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next vlog. But if you have finished reading this and you want to talk some fun theories or spoilers that I feel like on a reread I saw so much more of this time, let's talk. So the first thing going back and rereading was basically just thinking of the absolute last line, which is Imogen's conversation with Violet, and her last line is "what you asked me to." And upon rereading it, like starting it over very early on, I think in chapter 2, chapter 1. No, in the prologue of rereading this, we have the last line of the prologue to me and the last line of the whole entire book link together, which I'm so excited to like see what's happening there. But the line that I annotated here is it's after Violet sees Xaden talking to Jack Barlow and asking him questions about being Venom, and Violet's thinking, you know, 10 steps ahead and thinking like, we can't let Jack Barlow know this information and we need to wipe his memories. And then she thinks of Imogen and her memory wiping ability. But I feel like the way that it's spoken, Violet's talking to Andarna and says, the last line is, tell Glenn, Imogen's dragon, I need Imogen. But the line before that is, it says, there's only one other person besides Bodhi and Garrick I can trust to prioritize Xaden's best interests. Only one other person who can know the truth in its entirety. And then she asks for Glenn to get Imogen. And I just feel like this wording, she's telling her the truth in its entirety. And my thought process is that Violet tells her more than like Violet knows later on in the book, because I think what happened here is that they concocted some kind of plan at the very beginning of this story, right the evening of like the battle at Basgiath. Like after all of that's over, I think she and Imogen came up with something together and concocted a plan. Then my assumption is either Imogen wiped her memories right then, or I don't know, like wiped her memories of the plan so that she could completely keep the secrets from Xaden, because there's a line like a paragraph or two above that says like, I have to start keeping secrets again from everybody, even Xaden, like keeping secrets from him. And like, because we know his second signet all through book 3, it's like, how is she supposed to keep that many secrets from him when they literally like, their dragons know so much of each other and he can read her intentions and he would know when she's lying and like not telling him things. So I feel like they went and like circumnavigated that through like coming up with a plan and then Imogen wiping Violet's memories. And then there's another scene a couple chapters later that I highlighted where it's just like very odd what's happening. It's like they're playing it off like everyone thinks that Xaden was going to kill Violet in her sleep, and suddenly there's like all these people standing outside her door, and she makes this remark where she's like, Xaden's sleeping so soundly, like he hasn't done that in forever. And she said she slept all the way through the night and she hadn't been doing that, and she couldn't remember falling asleep. And like Violet just like ignores that as like, she must have been so tired, blah blah blah. But she notices things in the room that are out of place compared to like her last memories of the room. Like there's a dagger in her book and like, oh, it must have been Xaden, it must have been this. But like then she walks out the door and Imogen's standing right there and she's looking at her very expectantly, like, is everything okay? And it's like, to me it just seems like something happened there where like their memories were wiped. It just like was too convenient. Like I have no idea why Imogen would be right there. Yes, she cares about Violet. Yes, people were watching to make sure that like he didn't kill her or like anything crazy, but like she was the one that was like, she was very, I don't know, she was very nervous about Violet's reaction to her being there, it seemed like. So those were things I noticed like instantly on a reread where it was like, this does not make sense. Yeah, so I just feel like the what you asked me to do had so much more meaning to it as a last line than just like what she asked her to do in the last 12 hours. I don't know, but that last page, man, the last chapter, last page specifically, like I was just floored with that ending. So I was so excited to reread it. The only other things I really annotated a lot were heavy foreshadowing moments, like this one about the shadows and like Xaden needing her to find him his specific type of darkness, and coming up a lot, and like, I don't know, just some things that he was saying. I feel like him and Arik were like working together multiple times. Like there's even like a whole point where they're joking about it and being like, oh, she's definitely gonna be a general, a leader, a duchess, something. And then by the end, she's already been a leader and now she's a duchess. So it's like, I feel like the unlikely duo of Arik and Xaden is very funny to me, very comical, because they both are intrinsics in a way, and can like know each other's secrets, and I just wish we had gotten that scene. Hopefully we do one day, or it's mentioned, or it's like a fun bonus scene where it's like, I feel like it's just like that meme where it's like, do you know something?
Something?
Do you know something?
I might know something.
I might know something too.
What's the thing you know?
Oh no, I can't tell you, and you tell me what you know.
Well, I can't tell you what I know.
Well, then I can't tell you what I know.
Okay, fine.
The thing that I think that I know is actually the thing that I think that I know.
Oh! You know!
What do you know?
Yeah, I know!
Just like, I feel like they looked at each other and they're like, we know something about each other, and we don't really want to say what our biggest secret is, but we can both kind of tell, because I'm sure Arik knew that Xaden would find out and that they would start teaming up together. So I think they both just like were not sure what to do with that, but it was probably a very funny moment trying to like start that relationship together, especially when they don't really like each other too much. What else did I highlight in here? I just think Xaden knows so much in this that the rest of us, like as readers, don't know, and Violet doesn't know. So many lines of like him saying things with certainty: you're going to kill me, you're the only one capable of killing me. So many lines, like Ridoc said a line that was basically just like, he left you stumbling in the dark, and I was just like, oh, that was complete foreshadowing to the end of this book. Also, what I really loved reading was the point when we see that Violet acknowledges that the dagger of Tyrandor, or I think it's the dagger of Tyrandor, not the sword of Tyrandor, whatever it is, it has an emerald missing that wasn't missing when we were in Deverelli. So then we know he had already had her engagement ring like made for her prior to, I think it was like page 400 and something out of, 500 and something. But yeah, it's like the first time she goes back to Orisha, and you see that that's the only thing she really notes that's different about the room compared to when she was there months before they headed to Basgiath for like that battle. Those are my thoughts. I'm super excited for the next book. It was really fun to reread it and annotate it. I'm glad I like recorded some of my thoughts this early on, like right after I finished it and like after rereading it. I know I'll reread it again when the next book is coming out, but who knows when that'll be. I looked at a bunch of fan theories and things like right afterwards, but I don't think I will keep doing a lot more of them, because I did that with the third Crescent City book. I just like got so absorbed in all of the like potential theories. It made me not love the third book as much as I probably would have if I hadn't spent like 9 months coming up with theories. So I did it. I looked at the theories. I enjoyed it. I like got in on the memes and the hype of the book, and I personally documented my own thoughts and like things that I think will connect, and just things I loved and funny stuff. Ridoc made me laugh even harder on the second time around. He really is growing into such a fun character, so there were so many things I enjoyed. But let me know in the comments if you have any great theories or if there's anything you really loved about it. This was fun. If you enjoyed this kind of video, let me know. I think I have a few more reading vlogs that I just haven't posted, so we'll see. I've been doing a lot of market research reading for my book and like book series and just some different stuff, so I have a lot of fun books that I've been reading, and maybe I'll share a little bit more about them, maybe I won't, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'll see you in my next vlog. Thanks so much for watching.